married a white man.
Yeah,
Dr. Umar would have a huge problem with that.
Okay, I would love to talk to him more about that because, I mean, it's always very interesting to me to hear this paradox of Black people who will make an argument that, you know, the system is racist and then also make an argument like this, which is essentially making an argument for the Supreme Court to revisit Virginia versus Love and basically say that Black Americans and white Americans shouldn't be marrying. I think the greatest thing ever is when people come together on the basis of who they love and get married. You know, for me personally, I never thought of my husband as a race. It's very interesting to me to see people go, she's married to a white man. When I look at my kids, I'm not like, oh, my kids are mixed. I married the person that it made the most sense for me to marry. I have a mind that is just, you know, if you even knew half the things that I'm thinking about, the stuff that I'm reading, just go all the time. It's difficult for me to find. It was difficult for me to find a partner that was a challenge to me. You know, the challenge that I needed, whether you want to say like an academic challenge, whatever it is, with my same interests. It just was. What you will know, a lot of times people think that when people come together, it's because of how they look. Actually, I actually read this in a Thomas Sowell book, or maybe it was a Shelby Steele book. People tend to marry their IQ, which is interesting. You think like if you see two Black people together, oh, it's because they are two Black people, but actually they are probably better matched based on their IQ. You know, I fell in love with my husband just because I think he is one of the most brilliant people ever. You know, I love him very much. The stuff that we talk about, I'm like, there is no other person that I could have married. We have 3 beautiful children who are growing up in an environment that I am just so happy that I was able to, you know, what every parent wants, to give your children better than you had, you know? And that's all I can say. I'm just the luckiest person in the entire world.
How is he going to feel about you not finding him attractive and just liking him for his mind?
What
oh my God. What?
He got the smear already ready for the journalists that are listening. Candace says her husband is not. It was a bonus that I also think that he's beautiful and gorgeous and handsome, but it really was about his mind. I know I married the right person, and I want every person to never allow like race to be a barrier to you finding love. That is so foolish. That will stop you. And by the way, you know, there has been so much toxicity, and particularly in Black relationships, because of the media portraying Black men as this or Black women as this. And we just have to stop doing that, you know?
Yeah. Have you ever dated Black men before?
Yeah. I dated Black men, which is another thing that I always find really funny because the media tries to portray me as someone who only liked white guys. Actually, if you want to be honest, I started off on a really strong Asian kick in my life.
Oh my gosh.
I thought I was going to marry an Asian
man.
I did. My first boyfriend was Japanese. My second boyfriend was Korean. I just really loved Asian men. It was weird.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he was a stand from Connecticut. There was an Asian.
Yeah, she never liked the black man because she's from an area in New York where there's nothing but white and Asian. That's why. And then she also explained black men never found her to be attractive. She goes more in depth and say black men didn't actually find her to be attractive. So my question to you, Stephanie, should Black women date outside their race? If they're having a hard time dating, should they date outside their race? Go right ahead.
You gonna hit me with that? That's a heavy hitter.
Yeah. Final topic of the day. That's the topic.
For sure. I feel like my preference, I would not. That's just me. I'm gonna live and die on this mountain, on this hill of I love Black men. Like I love y'all. And
even if you remain single for the rest of your life, you're still not gonna date outside your race.
I know that's not gonna be my plight. I don't think. Yeah, I'm not. Don't be speaking that into my existence, okay? My Black thing is coming. But no, I feel you. I feel you though. Like, yeah, and maybe that's something I have to explore within myself. Like, I just don't see myself being led by or following a Black man. I mean, someone who is not Black. That's just me. Now, other women, if that is their decision, I respect it. Here's my thing about interracial dating. My thing with interracial dating is when you fall in love with someone who is not Black, and then you turn around and degrade the Black community, like, oh, when Black men get with others, or other women, and then they turn around and degrade Black women, and then vice versa. Although it's rare where I hear a Black woman do that to Black men, but that's my only issue with it. Is like, go if that's where you choose to be. I love it. But don't be over there and then downgrade and talk shit about black women. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna say this. I'm telling y'all all my tea. I definitely grew up in a household where my dad was like, "You black bitches ain't shit. These black bitches only want." Do you get what I'm saying? So when interracial dating for me hits a little differently, because growing up for me, I was made to feel as if my blackness was not beautiful, my blackness was not wanted, my blackness was not accepted nor desired. And so I had to do so much work on. I think that's why I overcompensate with educating myself on my blackness and loving it to a fault, because I was brought up with my dad telling me it wasn't. Like, these white women is where it's at, is what my dad would tell me on the regular. Like, you need to hang out with the white girls because that's the only way you're gonna catch these niggas. And so for me, it's like, I want to, and I don't know if maybe like me fighting so hard to be with a black man has something to do with that. But for me, I don't see it any other way. Yeah.
Man, you
Somebody
going
said I
strong.
haven't met, huh?
Yeah, they say you haven't met like you haven't met someone that pretty much cultivate your feet yet from a different race.
Yeah, no. And this Italian man he was from Philly though, so he really acted like, one of us. But he was low key disrespectful when it came to
Mm.
black. When he would say shit like, "Oh, they dumb as fuck," I don't know why the fuck y'all do this, and it's just like, you talk to the wrong one. So that's another thing. I sometimes think that other cultures only date us again for tokenism, like, "Oh, I got me a black one." I've heard, Armenian women, Asian women, "I got a black husband. Have you ever been with a black guy?" Like, bitch, they're not a purse. This is not a purse. Like, you're going to be raising black kids. And that's what kind of pisses me off, is just like, they don't understand the severity of getting and laying in the bed and marrying a black man, because they will then have these black kids and then belittle them because they're black, or don't pour into them in their blackness. Like, so yeah, that's it
Me,
for
I don't
me.
have an issue. I don't. Me, I prefer race. I'm a race loyal. I most of my women been black. I only dated one Spanish girl. That's the only in high school. But majority of my women been black. I love black all around, every day. But I understand why women go outside and date outside the race, because the simple fact, they always say they have issue with black men. Black man not listening to me. He don't know how to cater to me. He don't know how to
Yeah.
treat a woman. I get all those things. But my always thing when I always talk to Hakeem about is the children. They're gonna come from different homes. They don't know who to relate to who. One time I was talking to
Mm-hmm.
a girl, a friend of mine who I used to talk to back then. Her brother married a white woman. Now he have mixed kids, and sometimes her niece sometimes get confused because you like, my dad's black, but my mom's white. So which side I'm part of? So that's my only
Mm-hmm.
issue when it comes to the aspect of the children. But at the same time, I get it, because one thing about Candace Owens, she like, I love his intelligence. He's very intelligent. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what she didn't even talk about the looks department. She was talking about he was so intelligent. So I always love Hakeem's take on this, because Hakeem's also raised loyal. So let me hear his take on it. Go ahead, Hakeem.
So for me, and I want to put this perspective that I think that maybe Candace Owen did not want to talk about and or mention, because I try to look at it from a broader perspective. Sometimes people date on proximity. What's the close to them?
Oh, I agree.
So we tend to sometimes date in proximity, date based on culture, date based on just general things. So like I grew up in Miami, and I grew up in a black neighborhood. So 90% of the people I dated were black. You feel me? I didn't have access to other races until I moved out of town.
Mm.
And I know that might be strange for a lot of people to hear that, but some people live in places where they've never met somebody who's Portuguese or an Asian, or been in a space to be around people like that. So 90% of the time, you either with somebody who's Hispanic or black, or they're from a Caribbean island. On top of that, my parents are from the Caribbean.
Mm.
So sometimes your culture or how you was raised tend to dictate your dating at times.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And who are you around too plays a part as well. So you know what I mean? So that also plays into a point too. I've been around Black American women all my life, so I tend to go for them. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it goes to that point. But I do think this is where I have an issue at too. I I hear where you too. Sometimes you hear a lot of divestors speak negatively towards about black men. Just like you say, men who divest shouldn't speak negative about black women, like Cynthia G and all these people. And um what's the other
No,
girl
but
name?
Cynthia G date black. She don't
She
date
does
white
date
people.
black, but she talks about unaliving, not having kids with black men.
Ooh.
You see what I'm trying to say? But then there's like Paris Mulan, a lot of these divestors, even on TikTok and stuff like that, we start to say that if you want, I do believe love wins because I come from a very diverse family. Some of my family members are married to Cubans, Nicaraguans, Mexicans, and stuff like that. I got cousins who live in Paris, you know what I mean, who are married to white men. And so love does win. I think that whatever works for you, I just think that understand what she said, he said biracial kids do better with identity if they have black mothers. That is a fact.
Yeah,
I
that's a
agree. We
fact.
were just having this
Yeah. I was
conversation
at
the
my
other
That
day.
is a
I
fact.
1,000% agree.
Not
yeah.
the man. That why I say they look at their mom. That why I made that example. I said they look at the mom.
Mom, they
So
look
my
at the
mom
mom.
was white. I didn't say the father. I said the
Yeah.
mom. So I
Whoever
think it was the
whoever
other way around. It's different. Yes, go ahead. Go
whoever
Mm-hmm.
ahead.
the mother is, you tend to who tend to, he said, don't give her the names Prince I can't keep. Yeah, so and that's basically what it is. You know what I mean? You do what you got to do, and not let nobody feel bad about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
don't, but I do think that if you are from a particular culture, you're gonna feel the pressure of your culture telling you that, hey, you brought that white boy around here.
And vice versa, which is wild to me. Like a lot of these
Yeah,
white people, a lot of these Latino communities, a lot of these Asian communities, like black men be filtering it in there. And I know a high percentage of those families is like, why would you bring him in here?
yeah.
And if they're treating you like I just oftentimes think, and I have this conversation with my nephew all the time. My nephew is 17, and we have this conversation all the time. Like when you go into the house after you have a girlfriend, when you meet the family, and if you feel a way about how that family is treating you, stop fucking with her. Because I guarantee you, like if anything wants to go down, that family is not going to support you, have your back, or they're going to set you up at some point. So, like for me, I just think when we're talking about there's so much that goes into these interracial dating that I really don't think. I think it's great. Fall in love with whoever you want to fall in love with. That's great. But don't be like Candace and be like, I don't see race. Bitch, please. Like,
But
please. Oh, I
yeah,
don't see my kids as biracial. Then what the fuck are they? Like that's you literally dismissing and ignoring what the reality of it is. You see race. You seen race when you moved on in your interview and was like, oh, I'm attracted to Asian men. So now since you're married to someone for the rest of your life, you don't pick your race. Yes, you do. You're just saying that because it's easier for you to digest. Like at the end of the day, if this is what you're choosing to do, understand the gravity and the weight that comes, the responsibility that comes with that. You feel me? Like it's
Mm.
not just, oh, I'm dating this black man and we're having kids and that's it. No, there's a lot of education that goes into it. I have a Filipino homegirl now who's had kids with a black man. And
Mm.
I'm low key a bitch when it comes, but I don't care. She's like, well, what am I supposed to do? The hair, like what hair products are you putting in your hair? And I was like, here's the thing, you gotta have to educate yourself, boo. Like I'm gonna tell you some things, but I can't be the answer for your kids. I don't know what kind of hair your kids got. Like, do the work. And this is probably some shit you should have thought about, bitch, before you had sex with a nigga. Like, sorry, not to be like that, but
Whoa, no, you can
not
go
like
in.
that.
Trust me, we don't listen to nobody here. You can go
Sorry,
right in.
but
no, you
yeah.
good. But I also want to make things too, and coming from my own experience, and I noticed it too. The whole race thing is a Black American situation and a white thing. Because so people might not, you might look at, but a lot of us who come from the diaspora see race in a different point. And
Okay,
I think that
but
also
but what's
too,
the but Hakeem, what's the point that people see it from?
we don't see race. I'm being real with you. Look at all the guys who come from where we come from in our community who have dated out their race, and the women in our community. The women and who come from the culture we come from date out their race very, very much so. You know what I'm trying to say? Because we don't have that concept of race the way American does. Because because we come from like a multicultural ethnic island where we have Arabs, Chinese, and all these people, just like Jamaicans, Trinis, and all these other people who are mixed down to the or I got family members who are half Dominican, family who are Cuban, Nicaraguan, mulatto, and not biracial. So, and that's due to the point. The concept of race is different. A lot of us look at it as a social construct. You know what I mean? But until you come here and start to talk to Black Americans and start to try to understand race from their lens.
But Hakeem, here's the issue. This is the issue I always have. They want Black people to be more open, but then other races do it with no issue. A Jewish person don't want you in their
Oh,
facilities.
100%.
Arabs
And
don't want you in
Indians,
their
like
facilities.
people from
yeah.
India.
But I was saying they want Black people to be open to everything. They want Black people to be like,
That is
oh, date outside your race, date outside your race, date outside your race. But I was like, okay, what about the Mexican? Because the Mexican be like, hey, don't bring that Negro over here.
Yeah,
that's just how the
that's
game is. Yeah.
that. I mean, I think it's facts. And I think that kind of goes to even our culture. Like everyone wants to have insight. Everybody thinks that they are able to have insight on what we do, how we do it. But the minute it is requested upon them, we're gaslit and told like we're crazy. When folks are like taken from our culture. They're taken from our hairstyles. You want to have input on how we're supposed to move in our relationships. But then the minute we're like, but I love Black love. Like if I say I love Black love and I don't care to date anyone else, I'm dating. Like, why wouldn't you? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just like,
There's an
but
issue.
y'all have other cultures that do the same exact thing, and y'all turn a blind eye to. Here's what it's compared to me. It's comparison to like, oh, we got to stop this Black on Black killing. Like y'all so quick to just look when Black people is killing Black people, but white people is the ones going up in the schools shooting up the schools. White people is like, you get what I'm saying? Like it's almost like I'm just saying that the idea of me not wanting to date someone outside of my race is no far fetched than any other culture, and I don't think that is looked on as seriously as it should be for other cultures because they respect that culture.
That is correct. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's why I say I don't like when they do that to Black men and Black women. But if they to me, if they want to be race loyal, go right ahead. Be
Yeah.
race loyal. But at the same time, they get a lot of backlash because oh wow, y'all don't want to date outside. Y'all don't want to date outside. But I'm like, yo, like I've been around table where people would literally talk down about Black people all the time. I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So it's a sad thing to say. Go ahead, King.
Maya, my mother and father are from the island of Haiti. I'm
I think they
Haitian.
got a new president, didn't they? Didn't they just get a new president?
No,
No, that he stepped down.
they
Step
said that
down.
they put a puppet in there.
Okay. Well.
They don't want no real stomp down soldiers.
No, but what I heard,
Mm.
I can't. They say it's not the whole Haitian
No, it's
area.
not
It's
the
just a
yeah, it's
small
not the whole
part of
Haitian.
Haiti that's going to chaos. The other
Yeah,
Mm.
area that my family's from, they are fine.
yeah.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
What's
You
that
say
passe?
Mambule,
And
Kizo,
yeah,
Baga femme,
yeah,
Baga
yeah.
la Duole, Benny
Yeah.
Soirée Canel.
Mm.
I can't. Don't stop talking. Don't be speaking. Don't be sweet talking.
Oh look, so
Go ahead.
so here's the thing. Low Spike Protein say something real pivotal. He said even culture was created to divide.
Yes,
So
of
do
course.
do you think that he said
I'm gonna
you
have to
you have to disagree?
strongly disagree.
Do you think I sometimes think even with dating, and I want to ask you out there, do you think it when people start pushing back and they say it's divisive because I think a lot of people don't want to assimilate.
Yeah. So wait, is your question like people are saying cultural is divisive because if I have a cultural representation or I have cultural pride, I'm less willing to want to simulate to what American culture is. I
Yeah.
Correct.
absolutely agree. I think this kind of goes back to that old sentiment of America is a melting pot. And shout out to Jane Elliott because Jane Elliott, baby, hit it on the head. She was like, melting pot is nothing but us melting all into one acceptable form, which is assimilating to American white culture to make white people feel comfortable. Culture is not here for divisiveness. Culture is authentically who you are. Like your culture is what traditional values are you built in your family? What are some of the rituals or maybe some of the traditions that you hold dear to your family? So when we say like that is divisive, I think that comes from a space of like, it's not divisive. Like this is really just me holding true to my identity. You're welcome to come participate in it. You're welcome to come join it. I think that's when it becomes divisive, is when we say you can't be a part of this, right? Or it can also be divisive when you say, if you're not a part of this, you're not welcome. So I think we got to be really careful to when we're saying things like culture is divisive, because that's really just saying like, oh, I don't have access, or you're not like this and I don't want to be a part of. Like, come on.
No, but you make a good point. I didn't see it from that aspect. I was just saying from that aspect of, because people are like, I only stay on this side of the party and that's it. So that way
Yeah.
people come up from the divide. But the way you broke it down is pretty much beautiful. Go ahead, Hakeem.
He says, "Me, culture is a differentiator, but it meant to unify those within.
Yeah. Yeah.
To take it too far through, and then you get xenophobia."
And
Mm-hmm.
then Low Spike Protein said, what is a traditional value? A traditional value.
Any traditional value could be and it really just depends on, like, okay, for me our values were one of them, moral value, don't have sex before you get married. Like that would be considered a traditional value. Even for y'all, some of you all, I think someone commented down below, like in other societal standards where like men don't give gifts to women, like that is a traditional value. So when we're saying like another thing, like you don't look your elders in the eye.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like these are things that in here, that doesn't mean like they're wrong. That just means that's what someone was brought up on. I want to explore that. Like right now, I'm definitely into the island of Fiji. I want to explore the people on that island, right? And like have an understanding of what that culture looks like. What are some of their traditions? What do they value in their family dynamics? Like, and that's how you become cultural human. That's how you become responsive and you become humble. You learn something new about yourself.
Well, no,
So
well, wait, you're not supposed to look your elder in the eye?
yeah, they have some words like you're not supposed to look your elders in the eye. I
Why?
want to say that
What's the
might
reason?
be a
No, I want to ask you, what's the reason? Is it disrespectful?
it's disrespectful.
Hmm.
It's disrespectful.
Large by protesting, that's not a cultural value.
What is it then, Lord? Break it down, brother. We're talking
Well,
about traditional. We weren't talking about cultural values. We're talking
Yeah.
about traditional
yeah,
values.
that's the
But
question you
go
asked.
off, bruh.
Yeah, because that was the question he asked. He was talking about traditional value. He didn't
Yeah,
talk
you weren't
about
talking about
cultural value.
cultural values.
Yeah, but everybody culture is different. See, me and Hakeem, we come from a Haitian culture, totally
Yep.
different. The way
Yeah,
we treat our women is totally different than
Very,
yeah,
American
very,
men
yeah.
do. That's
very,
why
very, very.
a lot of women prefer Haitian men because we treat
Yep.
our women different
Hmm.
than
Yeah.
American men do. Like American men, we'll scream. Like you see, American men will scream at you, but then, hey, shout out to Tracy, new subscriber.
Tracy. Pew pew pew
I seen the
pew.
gun. See that? I seen the girl, and I stopped by. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. no, but no, because like me and Hakeem, we brought up in a Haitian traditional value. The way we treat women is totally different than American man. Prime example, we was taught like we don't scream at our women. You're not supposed to
Nope.
scream at our women.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
That's automatic disrespect. You're not.
Nope. Never
You
put
Mm.
talk
my
to them,
hands on her.
or
Yep.
you walk away. We don't.
Walk away. Bring the money home. Pay the bill. My dad. I tell you, my mom and dad been married 43 years. And
Mm.
another thing too, you know what I mean? Haitian people in the diaspora come from Haitian people don't mind dating single mothers.
Yeah, and they don't mind. And they shine upon divorce. They
They
hate
shine
divorce.
upon divorce. They
They hate
raise
divorce
kids.
for real.
They raise kids that are not ours. So there's a lot of narratives that you might hear in the black culture. We don't talk about those type of things. That's never like I have cousins who I call them cousins, but they come from other relationships. So you know what I mean. It's a different thing in when relationship. That also segue into another question: would you date outside of Black Americans or far in the diaspora?
Mm, good
Oh,
question.
that's a good one. I would date Caribbeans. I've tried Africans. They too aggressive for me. They be grabbing on you and demanding stuff, and I ain't with. And they're super possessive. Like
The
I don't
Nigerian
move
people,
like that. Yeah, them Nigeria. Lord have mercy.
Well, do you like
Um,
Nigerian men? You like
no,
Nigerian?
them Nigerian. This Nigerian guy hollered at me. We was at 7-Eleven and we was on our way to a bar, and he was like, "Where you going?" And I was like, oh, me and my friends are going out. He was like, you're going to Melodies? And I was like, yeah. That nigga popped up in Melodies. I was like, whoa, sir. Like it's giving creep. But anyway, the Caribbeans for sure. I would date me a Caribbean and island man.
So what? Because you know you're an American woman. What's the issue with American men? What do you find out to be the issue with them? Are they too aggressive, or they don't understand women? What
Or
like?
you
What do
think
you
it's
think?
or it's
Or you
cultural
think it's
trauma?
culture?
Cultural
I,
trauma.
I for sure think it's cultural trauma. I'm about to say something about to piss a lot of people off,
No, go
but
ahead. We want you to
I
piss them
feel
off.
like Black men in America who are unaware subconsciously are seeking white validation. Because we are seeking like this white validation or seeking to be as equal to as white men. Oftentimes, this effort to try to get there, they will show like horizontal hostility to Black women because I'm just talking about my experience. Because of that, that's where I think we get a lot of these negative tropes when Black men are dating others, when they are painting Black women to look a certain way. I can only speak for California. In California, it's far few in between where I will see a Black man with a Black woman. And again, I really think like it is just chasing this idea of I'm going to be able to be on the level of white power one day, and this is how I get it. I get to the woman first. And I could
Mm.
be wrong. I think I'm just speaking through my own perception. Again, my
Mm.
perception is my reality. Um, but yeah, I think in LA specifically, men do not approach women out here like it's wild. If you come out here like that, you'll get stares. Like they're more looking for women to approach. We probably should talk about that too. Women to approach them, which in some cases I don't have a problem with. But again, like I'm not. I just don't think that it's a woman's place to go chase after a man. Like if y'all are the hunters, then go hunt. Um, so for me, like out here's it's a lot of like they'll stare you down and like give you the head nod, like come on over here. Like, no, I don't move like that. Like, so it's a lot of that. So I would say like insecurities. That's just I feel like I've talked in
Oh,
circles,
no,
but
but the aspect of approach, the society is changing. Go ahead, Hakeem. That's why men don't
No,
approach us. Go ahead,
so I
say.
want to
Go
bring
ahead.
up this guy named. I know a lot of people might not like him, but there's a point you did say something that I want to point out. So Kevin Samuel says you might be in a market that's very competitive. Are you willing to move to a better market to find a man?
mm.
You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
let's say like LA is bad, but they say Dallas is good, where black people are doing well in Houston
mm-hmm.
or DC. You know what I mean? These are the three places I hear where there potential. Are you willing to move out of a competitive market into a market where there's better opportunity?
Yeah.
Mm.
What's wild is my best friend is moving to Dallas next year for that reason
Boy,
and that
everybody moving
reason
to Dallas.
alone.
What's good?
Oh yeah, she's literally moving to Dallas. Like
Yeah,
at the end of the year. And I feel like this, I have no like what will be keeping me? You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? Other than my family. So I have no problem upping and moving to a different area. The only thing that's holding me, I'm gonna be real honest, is weather. I feel like I'm spoiled rotten and I want to be outside. Like I'm not trying to be in the house 6 months out of the year because of weather. So for me, I have to definitely look at that. Is it willing to compromise? Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
am
because
I willing to
nobody.
compromise? Hmm?
But at some point, you don't get tired of being outside because outside sometimes gets boring.
No, I'm not talking about. So when I say outside, I'm not talking about outside shaking my ass and getting drunk. I'm talking about going bike riding, going
Okay.
hiking, going on
Yeah.
walks, going swimming. You know what I mean? Like going to the park. I got a dog. Like taking my dog to the park. Like when I legitimately mean outside, and I don't think like I'm able to do that a lot if I'm in Dallas. Like, oh, they got nice weather in Texas.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
got
just yeah,
really
it's just
like
like Florida.
yeah,
Texas is like Florida.
listen, Dallas is
Like
where
Florida.
a lot of people are moving to, and they for the particular reason since there are a lot of companies here. There's a lot of
Yeah.
well-to-do black men now. At that moment, I've heard tons of women are moving there for that particular reason because
Mm,
the the um the inventory of men is better because there's a lot of good
mm,
jobs there. So that's the point too. Is like, are you, you know what I mean? And Kevin made that point. They said, okay, you in the you in Idaho or you in Detroit and you can't find a good man, are you willing to move?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Are you willing to move? Sometime
DB say Dallas is nice. I never been
Dallas
to
is
Yeah.
Dallas. I never been to Dallas, so I can't really speak
sometimes
of Dallas.
where you at might dictate the type of love you might find.
That's
If you
facts.
you know what I mean? If you just like saying if you from South Central LA or you from Watts or something like that, or you stuck in the jungle, okay, you think you're gonna find somebody who makes at least 40K who's
Yeah, you know, because if you go to New York, New York is terrible. New York is
Mm.
oh
terrible.
Jesus,
New
Lord
York
Jesus.
is, boy, I don't know how people can find love in New York. New
Mm.
No,
York is
you can listen,
terrible.
you can find sex, a lot of
New
sex,
York is bad,
lot of
Mm.
lot of
you know,
tapping ass,
because
but
you know
not
I
no
have a friend
marriage.
in New York, so I'm like New York, Miami, same thing. Miami is terrible. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
Miami
yeah.
is hard. It's very hard to find a stable relationship in Miami. Everybody I
It
know in
sounds
Miami
like
have
it's
multiple
hard.
relationships.
I feel like it sounds like it's hard no matter where you go. And you were saying like the jungles in Watts. You would be very surprised to know that place. That shit is gentrified now. Like the jungle got white people living in them.
Oh
Like
wow.
it's not hood like it used